Can you believe it if I told you your kidneys are in danger? It sounds strange, but I'm not trying to fool you, it's the truth, because some kidney damage is shown at the time when your kidneys are 70% gone. The scary part is how quiet that damage can be. No alarms, no sharp pain, just small habits are stacking up while your kidneys work in the background. By the time many people feel trouble, it's often deep. And you are about to see some kidney damage you don't ignore. Signs of kidney disease. Well, most people grow up thinking the kidneys are simple plumbing parts, filters that pull waste from blood and send it out as urine. That picture is incomplete. Your kidneys are closer to living laboratories than pipes. Every minute, massive volumes of blood surge through them. By the end of a single day, roughly 180 litres of fluid have passed through these two small organs. That number alone surprises most people. You might drink 2 litres of water, maybe less, yet your kidneys process the equivalent of a full bathtub of fluid over and over again. Almost all of it is reclaimed, cleaned, rebalanced, and sent back into circulation. Only a small fraction ever becomes urine. That constant recycling keeps the chemistry of your body stable. Sodium, potassium, calcium, amino acids, glucose, hormones, none of them simply pass through untouched. They're measured, adjusted, and either returned or removed with remarkable precision. Each kidney contains around 1 million tiny working units called nephrons, and every one of them acts like a microscopic quality control station. They decide what stays, what goes, and how much of each substance your bloodstream can safely carry at any moment. What surprises people even more is how deeply kidneys are tied into systems they never associate with them. Blood pressure, for example, is not just a heart issue. Kidneys regulate fluid volume and release hormones that directly influence how tight or relaxed your blood vessels remain. Vitamin D activation happens largely inside the kidneys, which means bone strength, immune balance, and even mood chemistry are partly under their control. Red blood cell production is influenced by kidney release signals. Toxin removal goes far beyond waste from food, medications, alcohol byproducts, metabolic acids, and chemical residues all rely on kidney filtration to leave safely. Because these jobs happen quietly and automatically, most people never feel them happening. And that silence is where the real danger hides. Kidney tissue can lose a huge amount of working ability without producing dramatic pain. Nephrons don't scream when they're injured, they simply stop functioning. The remaining filters work harder to compensate, masking the loss. Blood tests may drift slowly, fluid balance may subtly change, hormonal regulation may weaken little by little, but daily life often feels normal while that internal workforce shrinks. This is why early kidney disease surprises people so deeply. Not because the kidneys fail suddenly, but because they don't. They adapt. They carry an extra load. They stretch their limits for years. By the time obvious symptoms appear, a large portion of filtration power may already be gone. What makes this unsettling is that many of the earliest changes don't register as kidney problems in the mind. Fatigue gets blamed on stress. Puffiness gets blamed on salt. Blood pressure changes get blamed on age. Meanwhile, the organs responsible for maintaining your internal environment are quietly losing ground. Once you truly understand how much they handle, how many systems depend on them every minute, junk food stops looking casual, dehydration stops feeling harmless, and chronic sugar overload stops seeming abstract. These organs aren't background parts. They are active, decision-making systems keeping the rest of the body stable. And when they begin to struggle, the first warning signs are rarely loud. There are subtle shifts inside a machine that never had a voice to begin with. What causes kidney disease? Each kidney is packed with an astonishing number of microscopic working units called nephrons, usually between 1 million and 1.5 million in a healthy adult. Every nephron is a self-contained filtration system made of delicate blood vessels and tiny tubules that clean the blood, recover what the body still needs, and send waste away. Kidney disease begins when these nephrons stop doing their job. Some are damaged beyond repair, some become inflamed and scarred, others slowly collapse under chemical and metabolic stress. Aging alone reduces nephron count, which is why filtration naturally declines over time. But disease accelerates that loss. High blood pressure strains the fragile vessels. Chronic inflammation stiffens them. Toxins irritate them. Repeated dehydration thickens the blood they must process. Certain medications force them to overwork. Autoimmune conditions cause the immune system to attack itself. Infections can scar them. Genetic disorders can weaken them from birth. But among all causes, one stands far above the rest worldwide: long-term elevated blood sugar. Diabetes drives kidney disease more than any other condition because glucose doesn't merely circulate, it reacts. When sugar levels stay high, glucose begins attaching itself to proteins inside blood vessels and kidney tissue. This chemical bonding process is called glycation. It changes the shape and behavior of proteins, making them stiff, sticky, and dysfunctional. Inside the nephron's delicate filtration network, this becomes destructive. Vessel walls thicken and lose flexibility. Filtering membranes swell and scar. The fine pores that normally separate waste from nutrients begin to clog. As these structures degrade, the nephron can no longer regulate pressure properly or discriminate between what should be kept and what should be discarded. Protein, which is meant to be reclaimed and reused, begins leaking into the urine. That single change marks a major turning point. Protein loss signals structural injury inside the filter. It also deprives the bloodstream of molecules that help hold fluid inside blood vessels. As protein levels fall, water escapes into surrounding tissues. The result is edema, puffiness in the face, swelling in the hands, tightness in the legs, fluid collecting where it doesn't belong. What makes diabetic kidney damage especially dangerous is its pace. It rarely announces itself. Blood sugar may remain moderately elevated for years without dramatic symptoms. During that time, glycation steadily alters kidney tissue. Filters narrow, scars replace functional surfaces. Surviving nephrons enlarge and strain to compensate, masking the loss. Filtration tests may stay normal until a large percentage of nephrons are already gone. By the time protein consistently appears in urine or fluid retention becomes noticeable, damage is often well established. It's not unusual for a decade to pass between the beginning of kidney injury and the first clear outward signs. During that silent window, the disease is actively shaping the organ's future. And because nephrons do not regenerate, every one lost permanently reduces the kidney's working reserve. Kidney disease, at its core, is not a sudden breakdown. It is the long erosion of millions of tiny systems that once maintained the internal balance of the body without ever asking for attention. The first sign of kidney disease. The first real warning sign of kidney disease is not pain, it's not blood, it's not some dramatic medical emergency. For most people, it starts with something that feels small and easy to ignore, waking up at night to pee, then waking up again and again. Not because you drank a lot of water before bed, not because you're nervous, but because your body can't hold urine the way it used to. This is called nocturia, and it's one of the earliest signals that something deeper may be changing inside the kidneys. Healthy kidneys concentrate urine at night so you can sleep. When the filters start weakening, that concentrating ability drops. The bladder fills faster. The urge comes sooner. Sleep gets broken into pieces. What makes this important is how closely this pattern follows blood sugar problems. Diabetes and kidney disease grow slowly, quietly, often over 10 years or more. During that time, high sugar levels damage the same delicate tissues again and again. The tiny blood vessels inside the kidneys take a hit. So do the nerves, so do the eyes, so do the arteries. But the kidneys are special because they try to adapt. When some filters are injured, the others work harder. They push more blood. They increase pressure. They stretch themselves to keep things normal. On the outside, life still feels fine. On the inside, the workload is slowly tearing them down. As this strain continues, the filters begin to lose precision. Protein, which should stay in the blood, starts slipping into the urine. That's a major red flag. It means the filter walls are damaged. At the same time, overall filtering power drops. Waste that should be removed starts lingering longer. Minerals drift out of balance. Hormones that depend on kidney processing begin to shift. Energy production suffers, muscles feel heavier, thinking becomes duller. But most of that comes later. Nighttime urination often comes first because it reflects one of the kidney's most sensitive jobs, controlling fluid concentration. When that control weakens, the body shows it quickly during sleep, when hormones are supposed to slow urine production. Instead of resting, the kidneys keep pushing fluid through. The bladder keeps filling. The brain keeps waking you. Many people blame age, or stress, or their prostate, or just drinking too much. Years can pass with this pattern repeating every night. That's why this sign matters so much. It arrives early, it's common, and it's rarely taken seriously. But frequent nighttime urination is often one of the first outward hints that the kidney filters are under strain. Long before pain, long before lab reports scare anyone, long before most people believe anything could be wrong. Other kidney disease symptoms. As kidney filtering slowly weakens, the body doesn't collapse all at once. It backs up, little by little. Waste that should be leaving starts staying longer. Acids build. Extra minerals drift through the blood. Useful molecules slip out into urine instead of being saved. Hormone signals get confused. None of this usually feels dramatic at first. It feels vague, heavy, off. People often say they feel run down without knowing why. Fatigue becomes easier to trigger. Recovery takes longer. Focus fades faster. The body is working harder to stay balanced, even though the systems that normally do that job are losing strength. One of the most noticeable changes is fluid movement. When damaged filters let protein escape into urine, blood loses one of the things that keeps water inside blood vessels. Fluid then leaks into the surrounding tissues. That's when swelling begins. It may show up as a puffy face in the morning, fingers that feel tight, ankles that leave sock marks, shoes that suddenly fit differently, legs that feel heavy at night. This swelling, called edema, is not just cosmetic. It reflects a real shift in how the body is managing pressure and fluid. Blood pressure often rises during this stage. Kidneys help control it. When they struggle, pressure control weakens. Higher pressure then damages kidney vessels even more, creating a loop that feeds itself. Toxins that should be cleared can start irritating nerves and tissues. Skin may itch, appetite may change, nausea can appear, muscles may cramp more easily. Sleep becomes less refreshing. Some people notice foamy urine, which often reflects protein loss. Others notice they bruise more easily or feel colder than usual. What makes all of this dangerous is timing. These symptoms don't usually arrive together. They drift in slowly, one by one. Each one is easy to explain away. Swelling gets blamed on salt. Fatigue gets blamed on work. Blood pressure gets blamed on age. Sleep problems get blamed on stress. Because the decline is gradual, the mind builds simple stories to protect itself from worry. Meanwhile, the kidneys continue losing working units. How to stop nocturia and protect the kidneys. Nighttime urination usually doesn't begin in the bladder, it begins in the blood. When sugar levels stay high, the kidneys are forced to move more fluid, more often, under more pressure. That pressure changes how urine is made. Healthy kidneys slow urine production at night so the body can rest and repair. When blood sugar remains elevated, that control weakens. The filters lose their ability to concentrate urine. More fluid passes through. The bladder fills faster. Sleep breaks again and again. That pattern is not random. It reflects chemical stress inside the kidneys. Modern care often focuses on managing diabetes rather than correcting what feeds it. Medication can push sugar out of the bloodstream, but sugar does not vanish. It is redirected into fat, liver tissue, and organs. The blood may look better on paper, yet the internal environment remains overloaded. The kidneys continue processing thick, reactive fluid. Real relief begins when less sugar enters the system at all. Lowering carbohydrate intake reduces how much glucose enters the blood. Combining that with intermittent fasting lowers insulin levels and improves how cells respond to it. As insulin resistance eases, sugar stops flooding the filters. Chemical irritation drops. Pressure inside the nephrons calms. This shift is why fewer meals matter. Each time food is eaten, insulin rises. Fewer eating periods mean fewer surges. Fewer surges mean less damage. When the blood stays calmer, the kidneys finally work in a quieter environment, and nighttime urination often begins to fade. The eating pattern explained simply. This eating structure is not about restriction, it is about spacing. Earlier in the day, one complete meal provides protein for repair and fat for steady energy. That meal anchors the body, stabilizes hunger, and prevents muscle loss. A few hours later, instead of another heavy plate, the focus shifts to foods that fill the stomach without pushing blood sugar. That is where vegetables come in. A large bowl of mostly greens supplies volume, fiber, water, and micronutrients without restarting the glucose cycle. Leafy foods work especially well because they take up space while carrying very little sugar load. Lettuce, arugula, spinach, mixed greens, and sometimes a little cabbage form the base. Olive oil supports absorption, vinegar aids digestion, seeds or nuts add texture and minerals. Placing this lighter meal in the late afternoon or early evening naturally opens a long overnight break from food. That break allows insulin to stay low for many hours. During that window, stored fuel is used, repair chemistry rises, and constant digestion finally stops. For the kidneys, this matters. Less sugar is moving through the blood, less waste is being produced, less pressure is placed on the filters. Instead of running non-stop, the system enters a quieter state. That quiet is where balance begins to return. Why greens matter so much? Greens protect the kidneys not because they are low calorie, but because they are chemically active. Inside plants are thousands of compounds that never appear in processed foods. These phytonutrients interact directly with inflammation, oxidation, and cellular stress. High blood sugar creates unstable molecules that damage vessels and filter walls. Phytonutrients neutralize many of those reactions. They soften inflammatory signaling. They reduce internal corrosion. Over time, that protection changes how quickly tissues wear down. Greens also deliver minerals in natural forms that support kidney function. Magnesium helps relax blood vessels. Vitamin C supports tissue repair. Potassium supports fluid balance and nerve signaling. These nutrients arrive bound to fiber and water, not isolated in pills. Unless someone is already in advanced kidney failure under medical restriction, potassium from whole plants supports kidney health rather than harming it. Beyond nutrients, greens reshape the gut environment. They feed bacteria that produce compounds improving insulin sensitivity and lowering inflammation. That indirectly reduces sugar pressure on the kidneys as well. This is why vegetables are not decoration. They are daily chemical support for organs that live under constant metabolic stress. So that's all for today. Hope you find this video informative. Then don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Thanks for giving us your valuable time.